Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Shelton Board of Education regular in-person meeting held at the Board of Education office on Long Hill Avenue. Today is Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, and it is 7:06. Our agenda, call to order, please. Roll call, Mrs. McCune.
Joseph Cagliero.
Here.
Lorraine Rosner. Here. Kate Lukash.
Here.
Diana Meyer.
Here.
Patty Newman.
Here.
James Rossetti.
Here.
Carl Rizzo.
Here.
Amy Romano.
Here.
Kathy Olish.
Here.
And the minutes will reflect in attendance, John Calhoun, Todd Hopplfinger, Glenn Newman, Carol Pinozzo, Ken Serenich, Kristen Santilli, Sanjana Jain, and we have Attorney Crowder and Attorney Teodosi.
Okay, thank you. Before we have a motion to approve the agenda, no, I'm going to do this first. Okay, before we begin the meeting, I would ask to have a moment of silence for Xavier Sandor, a 2021 Shelton High School graduate who passed away unexpectedly about 10 days ago. Xavier was in the Navy and stationed in Virginia. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. I also want to include a remembrance of Roseanne McCaffrey, one of our beloved bus drivers, who also passed away suddenly a few weeks ago. Let's take this moment of silence. Thank you. All right. I need a motion to approve the... Oh, pledge, I'm sorry. I did that the last week. Flashback. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Agenda item 2, approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, before we approve the agenda, I'd like to make a motion to add 3 things to the agenda.
Okay.
After item 4, we'll have 3 motions, one for a workman's comp case, another for the nurse's contract, and a third for the retirement incentive.
Okay, thank you. All right.
So that's the motion.
Okay,
to
so
add
that's a
them.
motion?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Kate Kuchar, seconded by James Orizzetti. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Now we have to approve the agenda. Make a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Joseph Cagliero. Second by Lorraine Rosner. Any discussion? Sensing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Agenda item 3, approval of consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
Second.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right.
It's all right, go ahead,
We
Lorraine, I
had,
don't care.
okay, a motion by Kate Kutas, co-seconded by Lorraine Rosner and Joseph Tagliero. I know. Agenda item 4, approval of the... Oh.
You said a motion.
Okay. You know what? I'm so confused from the meeting before. All right. All right. This is called the onset of old age, everyone. Just want you to know. All right. Motion?
We got the motion, second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now, number 4. Do I have to read all that?
It's a mouthful.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Approval of the Healthy Food Certification Statement for the school year 2022-2023. Pursuant to CGS Section 10-215F, the Board of Education or governing authority certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organizations and groups. Motion language for combined food and beverage exemptions. The Board of Education or governing authority will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards and beverages not listed in Section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same as the food and beverage sales.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kate Kuchar, seconded by Joseph Pagliaro. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, may I, just so the board knows exactly, so we have to, the Board of Education has to do this annually to comply with state statute, that we're gonna be in compliance with the Health and Food Nutrition Act, that our cafeteria system will sell healthy foods, all right? So you have to do that, and by doing that, then the board will reciprocate in terms of the reimbursements we get through free and reduced lunch, all right, through the state. So this needs to happen to keep funding, appropriate funding of our cafeteria program. The other language within this particular motion says that although we will be compliant with the Nutrition Act during the school hours, so the cafeteria can sell that healthy food, the board will still permit other outside groups, such as the football club, to sell hot dogs at football games, even if they don't comply to the Healthy Nutrition Act. So we're allowing other organizations to still sell as long as they're not selling during school hours when lunch is being sold. So this is standard. The board's been complying with this for years. They just annually, it has to be a motion at a board meeting. So this is that time of year. It's a
Okay.
mouthful, but it's necessary.
It was a mouthful, I would say. Thank you. All right, so we need to vote. Okay, all those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay, thank goodness. And now,
No, you have to do the other three new motions.
Okay.
okay, go ahead, Kate.
I move to approve the recommendation of Assistant Attorney Tom Cotter with respect to the claims of Nancy Bremer for injuries sustained on April 12, 2019.
Okay, vote on
Need a
it.
second?
But you still have.
We
I'll
need a
second it, Amy Romano.
Okay,
You can, but
second,
you're gonna-
motion made by Kate Kuchar, second by Amy Romano. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay?
Move the board to approve the terms and conditions of the collective bargaining agreement between the Shelton Board of Education and the nurses for the period from July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2024.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by motion made by Lorraine Rosner, seconded by Amy Romano. Any discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Okay?
And a motion that the board approve the retirement incentive discussed in executive session.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion made by Kate Kuchas, seconded by Joseph Pagliaro. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Public comment is not yet.
All right, abstentions, motion carries. Okay. Now, we can continue?
Yes?
Okay. This is like the nice highlight
Playing
part.
checkers.
Yes, it is like playing checkers. All right, superintendent, presentation, recognition of student recognition we have? Well, you're gonna do it, I'm gonna go give it.
All right, so why don't we,
Okay.
we'll go into the front. We have one recognition that we'd like to do this evening, and I'm doing it with our chief.
Oh, I have to have Roy take a picture. Are you gonna take it with your phone? Sure.
So as the board is aware, and you have read in the Shelter Herald, and last month at the board meeting, the board approved for some fundraising to take place in our schools, particularly our elementary schools, did a joint endeavor of 5 elementary schools combined to raise money to help support the efforts that are happening. As the Shelter Herald eloquently put for kindness, their efforts together raised over $9,000.
Wow.
This was all instrumental by one young student who we'd like to recognize tonight.
Yes, well, Mrs. Weber contacted me because she knew that I would just be absolutely thrilled. And then I sent her a message back that I think it would be nice if the school could, if our board could recognize our Amelia Rowe, and she's sitting here with her mom. Very special certificate of achievement presented to Amelia Rowe for kindness and compassion, leadership and initiative for fundraising for Ukraine at Shelton Public Schools on the 27th day of April in the year 2022. It was signed by the superintendent and the board of me. And this is for you.
Love your smile. Awesome. All right, awesome.
Tomorrow?
Madam Chair, those are all the recognitions and presentations for this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we are going to go to our wonderful Student Board of Education Representative Report. Sanjana, you're on.
Hi. Okay, so I'll start off with that robotics has been the Galehawks. We've been traveling everywhere for the past few weeks, and Ms. Pick's going to talk more on that, but just some numbers, like we were 3rd in New England by the end of our regional events, and when we went to Worlds in Texas, we were top 24 in the world out of 3,000 or so teams. At at the New England District event, we also got the Innovation and Control Award out of all the teams. So then going back to Shelton High, we have College Shirt Day on Friday, so that's a great day for the seniors to come, and like Decision Day is on Sunday, May 1st, so they're all going to be wearing that. And it's also College and Career Week, so different people have been coming in, talking to the classes. Spring sports, they've been doing well so far. I think we're about halfway through the season, so the schedule should, I think it's on the Shelton High School website that you can ever attend a game or like volleyball, track meet. So prom tickets for seniors were sold right before break because that is May 7th, so that's coming up in a week and a half, which is crazy to think about. And then junior tickets are being sold this week, and I think a little bit into next week because our prom is May 21st. And then also with schools like AP exams that start next week for the next 2 weeks, which is a lot of studying because your curriculum's ending, but that means we have like a month and a half to do like anything fun in class. And Seussical opens on Thursday, and that'll go Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I've heard great things about the show, so I'm also going, so I recommend doing that as well. But that's really it.
Thank you. Number 7, public comment. Per board policy numbers 9323 and 9325, 5 minutes allotted to each speaker. No Board of Ed employee, student, or community member should be defamed within public comment. Any members of the public who wish to speak briefly before the board must only comment on matters associated with the Board of Education business. Persons wishing to address the Shelton Board of Education are limited to Shelton residents, parents of current Shelton students, and employees of Shelton Public Schools or service contracted providers of Shelton Public Schools. All right. Okay, we have one person signed in, Michelle Piccolo.
I could, no worries. This room is good. I could do without the mic, but hello, Michelle Piccolo, 49 Cloverdale Avenue, proud teacher at Shelton High School. So today I came to catch you up on what's been going on with the Gilhawks. Sandra and I talked before, because last time we felt like we kept saying the same things. There's so much to say. I could go well over my 5 minutes about how proud I am of our amazing team and everything that they have done this season. So Sandra talked a little bit about, we went to the New England District Championship. And in New England districts, we competed with about 160 other teams. We were in a division called the Calcium Division, and we won the Calcium Division. So we did an excellent job with that. So we were one of the top 6 teams in all of New England, even before we went to the World Tournament. We went down and had some crazy, amazing fun in Houston, Texas. We were so, we displayed everything that Shelton would want us to do down there. In that division, we were 4th in our division. Our division was called Roebling. That's the guy who built the Brooklyn Bridge. Every division has a different scientist or person whose name is that. So we were in the Roebling division with 75 teams from all over, and we were number 4 of those 75 teams. And that's, again, what puts us at 30th in the world. So we was super impressed and super impressive. We just want to say thank you so much to the city. We all knew the support that was here. The kids were super excited. Our high school was fantastic. The kids were excited about other classes watching. People were, all over our social media while we were there. So we were so supportive of that. And our mayor even came and saw us down there, so we were supportive that the city came and he gave us a donation for our program. So we're super thrilled. We had an exciting season, one of the best that the Gilhawks have ever had, and we thank you so much for the support that all of you have given us to our program too. Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Last call. Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? All right, public comment is over. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. So for my monthly report, I just want to say how we're coming out of our spring break, and it is the final push till the end of the year. This week, we successfully began Smarter Balance assessments in the schools. I went around to some site visits. As I already communicated to the board, our staff and students are ready, and we expect great things from our testing results. Spring sports are in full swing. Yesterday, we had 8 home games yesterday alone, so I did the circuit, tried to hit all of the games. It was a great day to go visit sports yesterday. And as Sanjana has already, we're planning all of the years towards planning all the events towards the end of the year. The biggest one starts tomorrow night with Susicle, and it'll run this weekend, and then Senior Prom is right after that. So it is going to be a jam-packed push till the end with a lot of exciting events coming. In your board packet, just so the board knows, you do have the special ed enrollment report, as I would include every month. I do want to point out something, that although the totals are even, it's the same as last month, you will notice that some of the numbers go down in some schools because we dismiss some students as we're doing our job, and our staff and our students are doing a wonderful job getting the students to get the skills to be dismissed. Yet, more students still move into Shelton. So it's like pushing against the ocean tide, so we're maintaining, and as we talked about in finance, we know the financial impacts with that, but our staff is doing the best, providing the best services we can for our special ed students. You'll also see in the board packet, there are 3 different calendars for your consideration. They are in the board packet now to sit for 30 days to be voted upon at the next Board of Ed meeting. I would like to talk about the 3 calendars. Why do you look through? They're not in the board packet?
I was gonna say, those aren't in there.
Oh. Okay, so we're gonna make copies of the calendars. I have the originals, so we're going to get you the copies of the calendars that you'll have to sit for 30 days for your consideration for next month. These are the school calendars, not for next year, but as we talked about, the year after next. There are 3 versions for your consideration. Obviously, you'll be voting on one for next month's meeting. Calendar number 1 is just a rollover of what we currently do this year. Same start time, same holidays, parent conferences and everything, just rolled over to the 23-24 school year. Calendar version number 2 talks about, as I surveyed the board, a start date that would put us starting students before Labor Day. So we'd have a start time before Labor Day. This has been requested on several avenues relative to from parents who've been surveyed who'd like an earlier start date because of the weather impacts, and this year alone we're getting out June 23rd. The later we start the year, the later we get out in summer. I know there's been concerns that have been expressed that it's warm in the schools in August. It's just as warm in late June. So it's just when we're doing that. But there's also an academic effect because we are learning about where the set date of the AP exams, which we do not determine, that set is at a date in which we're shorting ourselves the curriculum that we're delivering to our AP students. So Shelton students are impacted by coming back later in the year. The date that is proposed in the second version is aligned to all the districts within our region, so we'll be starting around the same time. The third and final revision for your consideration has the start date before Labor Day and another addition which adds 4 early release dates each marking period, which it would be an early release dates for students, but a full staff day to provide more professional learning for staff during the school year. Also part of the survey that was given to the board. So these are 3 different versions. I apologize for not being impacted, but you'll get them shortly. They are going to sit as public record till the next board meeting, and at the next board meeting, a motion can be made as far as which one of these versions you would like to adopt as the 23-24 calendar. Along with my report, I just want to recap what was discussed at finance last week relative to budget. As the board is fully aware, because they are all there, this is more for the general public. We are projecting a slight budget shortfall for this year, approximately $300,000. A lot of this contributes to the costs associated with the rising special ed cost. We are approximately $2 million over in special ed, but we're able to mitigate the budget to be $300,000 short for this year. As a result of that, we have instilled a soft freeze within the district to monitor spending so we can stop incurring costs and try to balance the budget before we end the school year. The reason why this is appropriate to discuss in public and to share as we develop the budget for next year and work with our city. The mayor's very generous proposal of the $1.5 million will cover all operational costs in the budget next year. But as Todd and Carol and I presented in the budget proposal that we passed on to the city, we have to cover the rising special ed costs. And this is an indication of that. If the city does not match our needs for the rising special ed costs beyond the $1.5 million, we will be in a similar situation next year with this deficit, and a situation that would be worse because all federal grant money that we've received over the past 3 years ends at the end of next year. So as the public hears this as well, we want just be aware of the situation and the advocacy for the proposed Board of Ed budget. The last part of my agenda or my report for this month is I do want to share that I am wearing purple today, as well as several staff members. I spent the day at Elizabeth Shelton today, who are all in purple as well, because April 27th was nationally recognized as Purple Up for military students who are in military families. They recognize the strength and sacrifices that our students need to make when their parents are in military service and have to go overseas. So to support our students who are in those dynamic family situations, thank you, Mr. Pagliaro, for wearing purple. We wore purple, but along with this, I also wore my Autism Awareness pin. The month of April is Autism Awareness Month. I did tweet out about that early. As the superintendent and as a very proud father of an autistic student, I just want to remind everyone to respect differences, be understanding, and most importantly, be kind. And that's my monthly report.
And that also could apply to everyone, autistic or otherwise, okay? Right?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Okay, communications to the board. Mrs. Rosner, you're going to read a
There
letter?
is only one bit of communication from our superintendent to Banco's Music to Mr. Shapiro. Thank you for the generous donation of music supplies for the Shelton Public Schools community. The students and staff will get great use of these supplies. The donations are wonderful and needed during these rough times. Thank you again for thinking of us. Sincerely, Ken Sarah.
May I speak upon that?
Yes.
Yeah. So if those of you who don't know Banco's Music, which was in Ansonia, which has been a long-standing Valley music
Yes,
store, closed its doors unfortunately, and as a result of that, they reached out to Ms. Keller as our music curriculum leader and made a major donation of the items that they didn't sell in their final sale. So on behalf of the board, as your superintendent, I sent that letter as a thank you to them.
Yeah. And we appreciate it. Good. Yes. Okay, number 10, comments by the board chair. With the culmination of April brings on May and June excitement as we wind down the school year. It's hard to believe that there are only 41 days left in our school year calendar. Last week I attended the World Language National Honor Society induction, where 115 students were honored, 81 in Spanish, 2, 3, and 4, 8 in French, 2, 3, 4, and 21 in Italian, 2. This week, the Drama Club is presenting Seussical, and it's sure to be a hit, so make sure you buy your tickets, all right? Upcoming events that add to the end of the year excitement include school field days, the prom, the Book and Achievement Awards night in a few weeks, and the annual Scholarship Awards night in June, and of course, graduation. There are so many great things happening in our schools, and these make it a true pleasure for our board members to attend. That's the fun part of the job, okay? Kudos to our staff and students for all they bring to our school system. There are so many things to brag about, as was evidenced last week by our Robotics Team 230 performance in Houston, Texas. The Shelton High School Indoor Percussion Home Show, held 3 weeks ago, and the many schools who organized activities to help the people in the Ukraine, one of whom we recognize tonight, Amelia Moe from Elizabeth Shelton School. These are only a few of the many things that could be mentioned. Is it any wonder why we have so much Shelton pride? Every time I attend these activities, I truly feel like a proud mama bear, and I believe the board members hold that same pride, mama bears and papa bears. And that is my board commentary. Reports of standing committee, teaching and learning.
Teaching and learning does not meet in April. It's not our turn. We meet next on May 10th. Agenda to be determined.
Thank you. Finance committee.
Well, the superintendent took a lot of my, what I was going to say, but I do want to commend the superintendent and his staff and Todd as well, because we are running, our sped budget is running approximately $2 million over, and we've heard that other towns have had to come back to their city and ask for more money, but because of the diligence of our staff, we expect to finish right now maybe around $300,000 over budget. Thankfully, we have a reserve. Those of us last year remember we put a healthcare reserve of over $200,000, so we're going to find a way to make it work. So kudos to everybody involved in that effort. And just for, I did the math, our budget is coming in, we're coming in within less than 0.5% of where we need to be on a $73 million budget, or $74 million. So that's pretty darn good.
Always
Yeah.
round up.
Okay, yes, I know. The only other thing I wanted to mention, I'm gonna have to ask Todd to help me. We were recognized by the Humane Society, our cafeteria vegan menu. We were one of 10 in the state.
Throughout the local region, including Pennsylvania and New York.
Yeah, so through several states that we were one of 10 schools that had the appropriate vegan menu as per the Humane Society. So kudos to the cafeteria staff. That's it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I could ask Todd, after the last finance committee meeting, which kind of slipped my mind, when we get our financial statements, if we could have monthly breakouts from each line item, you know how you do like last year, this year? If you could do the yearly breakout for me, I'm looking for trends right now, and I can't do that without, when I see like last year, and then this year where I'm shuffling through papers. If you would do that in a monthly session, can you do that for me? From the new system?
We probably need to look into that a little bit further. So yeah, let's talk and find out a little bit more as to the detail you need.
It'd be a lot easier to spot certain trends.
Because it's kind of hard to compare this year to last year.
Well, comparing this year to last year is okay, that's all fine and good, but what's happened, and what's gonna happen is totally different. So what I'm looking for is the trend at the beginning of the year, the middle, and the ending of the year, so by monthly I can spot those. You follow me?
I think so.
Okay. We'll talk.
Yeah, maybe you can.
If you don't mind.
No,
After class.
maybe you can meet with them or call them or.
Yeah, I could come up with, I think it would be beneficial for every, well, at least the finance committee.
Mhm.
If you could see, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Just a request for next finance. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Policy committee.
The BoE Policy Subcommittee met on Tuesday, April 5th. The agenda included two updates. Policy 1330, Public Relations, Use of Facilities. Mr. Calhoun presented the committee with the current fee schedule of rentable facilities that the Shelton Public School System offers. All of the locations and fee schedules were reviewed and updated. It should be noted that Mr. Calhoun presented the committee members present with fee schedules of building facilities from other towns to make sure that the Shelton fees remain consistent and competitive. And some of the fees were minimally rounded up to make it easier for facility renters to calculate costs. It must also be noted that the additional fees are included in the building use forms for other services like custodial and fire. Mr. Calhoun did a wonderful job updating all of those documents. And they're in your board packet. And then bylaws of the board 9222, resignation, removal from office, censure. This bylaw has been under review for quite some time. I have to commend the board members who have worked on this current revision of bylaw 9222 for their input and their suggestions. As you can see from the draft in your packets tonight, there have been multiple revisions that have been fused into this final product. It's important to understand that the original issues with the first version have now been dealt with, and all of the suggestions were rolled into this new, I guess you could call it an addition. The issue has been solved, and a form has also been developed for public use, because as certain board members mentioned, there was no formatting of a process, and now the process is clearly delineated. I want to thank all who worked on this for their time, input, and determination to come up with a final product that is reflective of this process. So thank you. That bylaw review is also in your board packet. These items will sit for review until the next regularly scheduled board meeting, which will be next month. And the next policy committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 14th at 4:30 in this room.
Flag Day.
Yay!
You can tell the teachers, Flag Day. Okay, thank you. Buildings and grounds,
We did not meet this month, Madam Chairman, because we didn't have a lot to present to anybody. But I know Mr. Calhoun's been working on some projects. If you have anything else to contribute?
Well, right now, we're kind of getting ready to gear up for summer projects, so we don't have anything major going on at this time, but we're getting ready to put some bids out and receive quotes for various things during the summer.
So we will have our May meeting.
okay, but we do have buildings and grounds, right?
Yes.
We do have them, they're still in.
We're still here.
They're still in.
No one stole them.
No one stole.
No one stole them.
Okay. Thank
You never
you.
know.
All right, agenda item 12, reports of liaison, CES.
CES Representative Council met on Thursday, April 2nd at 3 p.m. Director Chip Dumais reported the hire of Dr. James Carlson at the workspace in Bethel in helping directing the renovated facility. The executive search team continues active in guiding districts and locating new superintendents and high school principals with a focus on leadership qualities. Dr. Dumais has been a guest lecturer at UConn's Executive Leadership Program for superintendents, as well as a lead instructor in their administrative prep program. He also met with legislators to advocate for the RESC legislative agenda. SES has 14 beginning teachers in the teen program. 13 of them have so far successfully completed team requirements for the year. Chris LaBelle, Associate Director, also met with Fairfield University staff to reinstate the acceptance of student teachers post-pandemic in the SES facilities. Regional Center for the Arts Jazz Combo recently performed for the CES Foundation Dinner. There are 56 applications for their free summer program, A Taste of RCA, for students entering grade 8. Students at the 6 to 6 Intermagnet School raised over $1,200 before the pandemic for Habitat for Humanity, and now with the help of their funds, 3 houses are being built in the immediate neighborhood of 6 to 6. Their lottery will be held shortly for 52 priority applications and 40 3-year-old spots. SES is going out to bid for health and dental insurance for next school year, working with 2 providers with the anticipation of a premium increase between 0 and 2%. The Professional Development Services noted several new and ongoing programs, noting expanded in-district PD for illustrative math and coaching here at Shelton. 2 staff members from CES have worked with the Developmental Therapy Institute and are now the only 2 certified DTI trainers in the Northeast. Developmental therapy is a research-based methodology used to teach students with developmental disabilities and is used worldwide. SES submitted applications to quality enhancement requests for proposals for several communities, including Shelton. These enhancement funds are awarded to school readiness councils by the Connecticut Office of Early Childhood and Success has applied to be the vendor in these communities to provide professional development services for in-person training, virtual training, and coaching. I'm trying to streamline it because these meetings are like 2 hours.
I
so
know,
this is
I know.
trying to narrow it
They
down
give
to
you an
what
awful lot
applies
to
to
say,
us.
I know.
And Mrs. McEwen, as I read this, I just realized there's a lot of typos in there, so feel free to fix what this next says.
Okay, Kate?
Cabe is not as long. Cabe is busy advocating on the proposed bills on behalf of school boards across the state during the 2022 General Assembly session. This included questions that they posed around proposed laws dealing with improving school HVAC systems, the reimbursement grants, how districts will need to create their truancy intervention rules, and virtual meetings that are now an option and not a mandate.
Good job.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Agenda item 13, for your information, you have a vacancy report in your packet, staff and stipend actions, enrollment report, bus data log, special education report. 14, celebrations. Anyone have celebrations? Mrs. Romano, I think you had one.
Yes, I did. I'm not sure about the other schools. I just know for Elizabeth Shelton, they had junior achievement last Friday, which was JA for the day. It was glad to see it come back. Last year we did not have it, and then the year before, I volunteer for JA for years now. The year before, it was like we received our package, and I don't even think we even got to have one class, probably depending, because it wasn't JA in a day, and then COVID hit. So these kids didn't have 2 years. So it was interesting to go back, but the class that I got was my son's class, and they were so engaged. It was so nice, maybe also because they know they have a whole entire day off of like no schoolwork. So they're like, I have no schoolwork today. But it was, I just had a really good class. And it was the 3rd time that I did the same exact lesson. So
They
for
do the
all
same-
of my children.
Is that right? Oh.
And interesting for Miss Quick, 2 of my children had it. So it was like, oh, remember 5 years ago when we did the same exact lesson?
What
It
was the
interesting.
lesson where you had to make those pizzas or
I was
something?
with the entrepreneur.
Oh.
So it was fun, and then me being an entrepreneur, so we had lots to talk about. But the kids were really good. And I think they were, you could hear the excitement in the class, and other classes too. And PTO did a nice lunch. Mrs. Weber was there giving out food and coffee, and they did a very nice job. But it was good to have it back. Like I said, I'm not sure about the other schools, but.
Mrs. Diudo, did Long Hill do JA in a day?
Not yet, I've been trying to get a hold of people from JA so we can do it. You want to volunteer?
Well, one of your teachers asked me to do it, but if you do it again.
Absolutely, I'll definitely communicate.
I think I did 1st grade. I think I had to do something with community and maps, and that was fun. I could handle that.
Few people, so they're hard to get a hold of, but we are trying to, because I know a couple other schools in the district do.
Okay, well, let me know.
I know there's like a shortage. I feel like we couldn't get, and we were scrambling even like last minute. Sometimes we would break up the day, and I remember doing with moms, like I do half day, they do half day, because it is a full day that you're there. But it is better just to get it done and over with. But there is a shortage if anybody ever wants to, and it's okay. It's not that hard. You don't have to be a teacher. I get through it. I prepare my lesson ahead of time.
You have to
at
prepare.
home.
You do have to prepare.
And it's okay if you veer off a little, no one knows.
Even for 1st grade, you have to prepare, because they're right on it.
Jimmy's ready. He's like.
Jimmy's going, he'll teach you.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta, everybody has to do it, it's good.
Jim, you have a, what?
They won't let me come and talk about
All right.
football.
I need, yes.
I don't know, this isn't quite a celebration, it is kind of for me, but, the play is coming up this week, so.
Yeah.
This, is it this week or next week?
Is this week?
Tomorrow night.
Well, no one's mentioned it, and the cat's still in the hat.
I mentioned it.
Yeah, we mentioned it like 3 times.
She did.
You might as well be in another continent, because the echo in here is so bad.
Oh, the echo.
We can't hear what the heck.
All right, get this one.
Any other celebrations?
I want to thank Ms. Piccolo and Sanjana. Really an outstanding season for the Galehawks. I know we've said it like 3 times, but it's really just a great group of kids. Sanjana got personal awards. It wasn't mentioned, but she's very, So I'm really proud of, and I'm psyched to see so many female STEM. So, yeah.
Okay, and last, I have some celebrations. I'll be brief because I want to get out before 8 o'clock. Actually, 7:55. Congratulations to the Shelton High School students and Youth Care Advocate Team members for spending Thursdays in April taking over health classes at SIS, talking about drug and alcohol abuse, mental health issues, and personal safety. This endeavor is led by Shelton Youth Service Bureau Director Sylvia Rodriguez. And it seems to be a very popular program, and I'm very impressed about that, Mr. Scarrett. Also, another shout out to 19 Shelton Intermediate School students who participated in the annual American Legion Oratorical Contest. And the winners, Quinn Wheatley, Joey Cummings, Rashid Patel, and Kaylee Hill. And one more, this is a little different. Kudos to our mayor and our Board of Aldermen for supporting the Shelton Robotics team with the $10,000 donation for their national competition in Houston, Texas, as well as approving the purchase of a pole vault pit for the high school. Additionally, in the paper, the mayor stated to the aldermen to expect 4 or 5 more school requests in the coming weeks. This collaboration is most welcome and very much appreciated. And I do mean that from my heart. Today is Administrative Professionals Day. A heartfelt thanks to all of our administrative professionals for their dedication and loyalty to Shelton Public Schools. And a very special thanks to our administrative professional, Lori McCune. And we have a little token of appreciation.
They should have us put on the flag. You could be proud of them, could you see it?
And
Schools are terrible.
with that, it is 7:52 and we are adjourned.